Hello and welcome back. We are in day 11 of this Mule advanced training. So, yesterday in day 10, you understood about OAuth, JWT tokens, all these security basics. Now, we will see how we can apply the security on any point platform. So, first, what we'll do is we'll discuss about how users are managed in any point platform, how teams can be created, what are business groups in access management. We'll understand how to control the access to any point platform users. And then we'll see how to use Okta as identity provider and also as client provider. Okay. And then we'll also see how to secure your APIs using API manager, and also we'll apply a policy called as OAuth policy. So these are the topics that will be covered on day 11. Maybe the discussion may spill over multiple videos. So let us get started. So firstly, what I will do is I will run through this presentation. How to control access to any point platform users. Basically, in earlier version of any point platform, roles are used to limit or allow access to various features. In earlier version of any point platform, users are assigned to roles and then they get access permissions from this combined roles. Okay, but now let us see, actually they have replaced roles with something called as teams. Let us see how it works. So I am logged into any point platform. I'll go to access management. Here you can see under users, I'm the only one user present in this organization right now. What I could do is I could invite users to my organization and I can assign, I can tell whether they are a member or a maintainer. So if I just give an email, the invitation will be sent, and if they accept, they'll be part of my organization. Now, in earlier version, actually there were something called as roles, but the roles have been replaced with teams. So what we can do is we can create a team. For example, in your organization, there are multiple business units, right? Yeah. So for each business unit, there are members, there are teams. So assume that there is one business unit, Siva BU business unit. And for that business unit, I want to create a team so that for that team, I can give some permissions. Okay. So Siva BU team, the parent team is everyone at this LWWW. Actually, my organization name I gave is LWWW. Okay, so I'm creating a team. Okay, now what I can do is once I have a team, I can add members in this team by clicking on add members and I can select. Actually, right now only Seva Prasad is there. I can add Seva Prasad to this team. If there are other users, I can add so. Then what we can do is we can actually go to permissions and add what all permissions we want to give to this team. Just for example, let's assume that in runtime manager, I'll just expand this. For this user, I don't want the user to delete applications. He should be able to view Cloud Hub network, and I don't want him to manage anything. I want him to read runtime fabrics, read alerts. I want to give only read permissions to this users, read servers. I don't want this user to even create applications, so I will not select it. Anybody who is belonging to this team, they only have these permissions. They will not be able to delete applications, right? So like that, for every module, like for design center, I want to give a permission of design center viewer. They can only view. Somebody belonging to this can only view design center. They cannot create ramls in design center. Okay. So like that, I can give permissions like this for the team. And here it is asking to what all business groups do you want to add permissions. This any member belonging to this team should be given permission only on this business group. Okay, what is a business group? I'm going to explain next. So I'll say next. And to which environment in this business group, I want to give them permission only to sandbox environment. Actually, for these users, I don't want to give permission to production environment. Okay, how to create environments? Just wait. In this video, you'll understand. Okay, next, and add permissions. Fine. So I created a team called as Siva BU team. Okay, and there can be members in this team. The members in this team get permissions, whatever I have added. Okay. Now let us try to understand what are business groups, how you can create environments within your business groups, how you can control access to this business groups, you'll understand. So now let us talk about a concept called as business group. Okay. Actually, in this, I have already created some groups. So maybe I will try to delete this business group. Let me check if I can delete it. Yes, I think it is allowing me to delete. Let me delete this so that I can create other business groups also. So what is a business group? Oh, error deleting. What is it? Could not delete an organization that contains assets. Okay. Actually, in this business group, I think I have published some assets, so it is not allowing me to delete. That's okay. Now let us try to understand the concept of what is this business group. Actually, your organization might have taken license for Cloud Hub or RTF, Runtime Fabric, or whatever. So in your organization, you might have multiple business groups within your organization, right? Multiple teams which are doing multiple products. Assume that in your organization, you have a business unit 1 and business unit 2. So these two are actually developing different products, and each business group has developers, administrators, etc. Now, do you want to suppose in this business group also you are deploying applications to Cloud Hub. You're developing some Mule applications in all these business groups. So do you want to get each license for each business group? Again, it will be costly. What we do is within our organization, we can have an organization license. Whenever we are purchasing a license, we have to tell how many vCores of CPU we want, how much memory we want for deployments. At our organization level, we will get some quotas. Okay. So for our organization, we have some vCores and memory of quota. Now what we can do is under this organization, we can create something called as a business group and allocate some vCores and memory to it. Another business group, allocate some vCores and memory to it. So whatever quota you got at organization level can be divided for business groups. And for each business group, we will be able to create environments like development environment, production environment, etc. So under this business unit, business group, we will be able to create multiple environments, and for each environment, again, I will be able to assign some quotas. So if I'm a developer who is assigned to this business group, I will have access only to the environments, whatever I have been given access to. I will not have access to the other business group assets. Right? Let me actually show you. You'll clearly understand. So I'm logged into my anypoint platform access management. Under that, I selected business group. I want to create a business group. You can see for LWWW, I'll click on this first of all. This is my organization. Every organization will have a unique identifier. This is my organization identifier. And every business group, actually, my organization also can be treated as a parent business group. Every business group will have a unique client ID and client secret. And for every business group, there will be one owner. Okay, fine. Now I'll go back. Under this organization, I want to create a business group. What I can do is I can give a name, Siva PG1 business group 1. And what is the parent group? I want the parent group to be LWWW. Okay. Who is the owner? If you're having multiple users, you can assign some owner to this group. I will assign only myself as a owner right now. And in this business group, do you want to create sub business groups and environments? Yes. I want ability to create. Okay, create. Fine. So business group created, and I guess I will just delete it. Siva BG1. Let me create it again. There are some more options which I want to show you. Create a business group again. Siva BG1. Select the parent group LWW and can create environments. Here I earlier forgot to assign V course. Actually, at my organization level, once I have taken a free trial, I'll be having one vCore that can be assigned at my organization level for sandbox environment and one 0.8 vCores for design environment. So for this business group, for this child group, I want to allocate 0.2 vCores for sandbox, 0.3 vCores for sandbox environment out of 0.7, and 0. Maybe 3 vCores in design environment also. So I've allocated the quota, and I'll just add the owner Siva. So I'll click on create. So Siva BG1 is created. By default, in any business group, there will be 2 environments, and totally vCores assigned is 0.6 out of 2 vCores, whatever are available at my organization level. 1 vCore for sandbox environment and 1 vCore for design. Now, if I go to this business group, here, this business group has its own identifier, client ID and secret. And now you can actually change quota whenever required. And one more thing is here under environments, I can create environments. By default, there are sandbox and design environment. Can I try to delete this design environment? Let me try to delete it. Okay, design. I deleted. Now there is sandbox environment only. I'll create a new environment. I'll say Siva PG1 prod. And what type of environment is it? Production or sandbox? I want it to be a production type environment. Hey, what is the meaning of sandbox and production? Actually, on clouds, this is a terminology used, sandbox and production. Normally on clouds, we'll be creating virtual machines, virtual environment, right? So basically, if you are deploying your applications for production purposes, you might want a good hardware, which is having high computing power, high memory, and fast. But for testing or for development, you don't want such a costly hardware. If you want a hardware to be allocated for you, which is very good, like in performance or in memory, you need to pay high. But for development, we don't want such a costly machines. So I can select sandbox. If I select my environment to sandbox, whatever virtual machines or whatever virtual infrastructure we are creating, the clouds will allocate low cost hardware so that I will also be charged less amount. So if you select the environment as production and if you deploy to production environment, the hardware which will be allocated in this environment will be a costly one because it should be giving good performance and zero downtime, etc. So I want this environment to be production because I'm going to deploy production grade applications that create. So like that, I can create one more environment of type sandbox, and I will say Siva PG2 dev. I want a development environment, and now I selected it to sandbox. Can design environment is there that will be used for flow designer in Mule. I hope if you know, you can design flows also uh, on the cloud. Normally, we design flows in anypoint studio, right? We can design flows on cloud as well, but that can be done when you switch to design environment. So anyways, we are not going to use design right now. I want sandbox. So development environment also is of type sandbox. Okay. Now, once you understood this environments, I'll go to teams and Siva BU team and permissions. Permissions I allocated, right? I think they were not saved. It is saying an error occurred. Please try later. Maybe I'll refresh. Some problem with anypoint platform. Yes, now I will click on show inherited permissions. There are no permissions. I'll add a permission right now for this team. In runtime manager, I will select, I want this user, anybody belonging to this team, to be able to delete applications and to be able to manage servers. But under which business group? Siva BG1, not in other business groups. And I want the team to only be given permissions to dev environment, not to production environment. I can select and give permissions, right? Now, any user, any member belonging to this team, I can add members here, right? Any member belonging to this team will have those permissions only. Fine. Now you understood about user creation, teams, and business groups and environments. Now, let us talk about identity providers. Actually, by default, anypoint platform will manage identities. That means users, if you create a user, that user details are stored by anypoint platform. And anypoint platform is actually responsible for storing user details and authentication. But what we can also do is we can actually configure some other identity provider like Okta as identity provider. I will be showing you how to configure Okta as identity provider later. But I wanted you to understand some important concepts here. Yes, I can actually configure Okta to be my identity provider for my anypoint platform. I already connected. I can delete it. Okay, Siva Okta. I will actually create a configure again. Right now, by default, anypoint platform will manage. But what I can do is I can configure a third-party identity provider like Okta or anything, so that the user's authentication, user management will be done by third party like Okta. But remember, for certification exam also, the identity provider, the third party identity provider can only manage users. Okay. But the permissions, like once a user logs in, he should have access to what all permissions will be managed by anypoint platform. So once a user is created through the identity provider like Okta, that user also will be visible here. And under identity provider, it will say Okta as identity provider. Once a user is there, you can actually assign permissions to him. You can assign that user to teams. That can be done only by the anypoint platform. Remember one important thing for certification exam. The identity provider can be integrated. The identity provider will only manage users and that will take care of authentication. That's all. The permissions, this user has permissions to what all environments, business groups, and what all other permissions, like whether he can delete applications in an environment or not. Those all permissions are still managed through this access management only. You can create a team. For the team, you can actually assign some permissions, and this user, you can add him to a team. So he will get all the permissions given to that team. Okay. So now you understood that anypoint platform can be configured with Okta. In my next lecture, I'm going to show you how to configure Okta as identity provider. That's all for now. I'll see you in the next lecture.